Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Chiefs Latest, your one stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy Wednesday. Can't believe we finally made it to the middle of the week, but it's been an action packed one, and I don't think the action's going to stop anytime soon because we already saw some tempers flaring. That's right, in training camp on Tuesday. We're about to dive into all the action, but before we do, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, you heard me correctly, daily videos Monday through Friday here at Chiefs Latest. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, probably to nobody's surprise, the wide receiver room is already facing potential disaster. I mean, we're still awaiting Rashee Rice's suspension for that Dallas street racing incident that he suffered earlier this year. That alone kind of already leaves your passing game thin for a few games. We're expecting anywhere from probably a 2 to 6 game suspension. Well, then on Tuesday, Hollywood Brown limps off of practice with a lower leg issue. He was carted off, but Chiefs later on said that it wasn't serious. He should be back as soon as today. Well, he averaged 12 games a year over 6 seasons. So he's not necessarily a workhorse, but I think Chiefs Kingdom, I think we'd be happy to take, 12 games from him this season, especially if it's during Rice's suspension or that stretch from, 12 games on into the playoffs. Well, without Rice, Brown's, his deep shots as they're trying to stretch the field more this season, that's critical to Mahomes. You want to stretch defenses, especially against the AFC when you're going to face some great secondaries. But then you look at your depth, Worthy. Yeah, sure, he's good, but he also kind of suffered something today on Tuesday. You have Royals, who's a rookie. You have Juju, who's hit or miss when it comes to needing that spark. So you can't take another injury. So I'm not really sold that Beach has enough firepower here, that Andy Reid and Matt Nagy have enough firepower to keep up with, again, these AFC West, not even AFC West, but just AFC secondaries that you're going to see throughout the year. Moore left Tuesday's training camp practice, Sky Moore, due to a hamstring injury. And then again, like I mentioned earlier, Worthy was slightly banged up, but they just said shouldn't be anything too serious either. But again, I'm more worried about Hollywood Brown because he missed most of last season with the Chiefs due to a shoulder injury that he suffered in the preseason opener. So after initially attempting to rehab, he ultimately had to have surgery in early September. That, of course, placed him on injured reserve, and that only limited him to just a couple of games in the regular season. But then again, it's not only that. He had a foot fracture in college, which required surgery before his rookie season. He's had multiple ankle sprains and foot injuries during his, early years with the Ravens, and he's had that reoccurring heel injury back in December 2023. Of course, he matters because, again, his speed, that's going to open up Kelsey's underneath routes. Without him, I think Mahomes' play action to Thornton or Royals, it won't be the same. We don't know what to expect yet from those two anyways. So Rice's suspension, Brown's scare, I think that exposes a shaky wide receiver room. If we're already seeing some scares now, I can't imagine what we're going to see throughout the season when it really becomes game time, shorter weeks, faster play, stuff like that. I don't know if we can bank on Brown for 12 games. I really don't think we can. But again, Veach, needs a vet, there we go, to keep Mahomes' passing game humming. So what could Brett Veach do? Well, I've talked about it in previous episodes, but I'm going to revisit it here now because I think these are the two best options for the Chiefs right now, and that's either Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen. Again, Brett Veach could chase a free agent, and I think those are probably your two best options to plug the gap. Yes, Cooper's season last year was rough. He only had 44 catches, 547 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and have then had to split time with two different teams. But I think we have to look at his 45% red zone target share back in 2023, not too far removed. Of course, he's had 7 1,000-yard seasons. I think that screams that there is some reliability there that you can trust. Allen, though, I think he fits Rice's underneath role better, and I think, honestly, he fits it pretty perfectly, almost like a glove. 2024 with Chicago, 70 catches, 744 yards, 7 touchdowns. Better than what we saw from Cooper. Shows that he can handle these drags, that he can handle these slant routes that they would want him to run. So I'm leaning towards, more Allen if you want to fill that Rice role more specific. But I think Cooper could have a higher ceiling per se over Allen's short-term slot work. Either way, Brett Beach needs one of these vets, at least one, to avoid a passing game collapse. If you could somehow get both of them, that would be unbelievable. But of course, we're going to be realistic here on this show. You probably only get one, and you only need one. But last season, as I mentioned with Cooper, 44 receptions, 547 yards, 4 touchdowns. Allen, 70 receptions, 744 yards, 7 touchdowns. When looking at these two, Cooper's size, his body, not only that, his body control, I think that provides Mahomes with that true red zone X receiver. I think that elevates the effectiveness of the fade and the contested, catch routes when you're looking at Cooper. Now, when you're looking at Allen, I think, again, elite short area quickness, elite short area route running, especially from the slot. I think that is going to stress defenders inside. I think that's constantly going to open space for Travis Kelce underneath. So I think that's going to keep the offense efficient, especially on those key downs. So again, I like Allen as a more natural fit in the Rice role, but either's a must sign to keep Mahomes humming, especially if we see Rice out. But what about someone that's doing some good right now in training camp? That's right. Did the Chiefs find another round 7 gem? Yesterday, I discussed the rumors of, adding Travis Etienne or maybe even Amir Abdullah to the running back room. But Brashard Smith's, so far, his camp performance, that's silencing not only people from the outside, but that's silencing me, and that's silencing people that had these rumors. Smith, he was a former Miami wide receiver turned running back at SMU. He just smashed the Mustangs record with 1,977 all-purpose yards in 2024. He has that patience, his single cut burst. He has that great returner ability on the special teams. I think that brings, a gear that someone like Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, I don't think they have exactly what this kid has. Again, Pacheco, Hunt, they're more your smash mouth style, but Smith has that quickness, that route running, especially from his wide receiver days. That's what makes him so efficient in such a hybrid role. I think that's going to fit Reed's check down heavy schemes. It's going to fit it like a glove. I've been saying that phrase a lot today, but it's true. And his open field juice, I think that's going to torch some AFC West linebackers. So I'm buying Smith as a hybrid weapon and potentially to make this 53-man roster. And we're again seeing, Veach's late round magic. It might have struck again, folks. But again, Smith needs to keep this campfire alive to lock in that RB3 spot. But looking last season, 235 carries, 1,132 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Not only that, he had 39 receptions, 327 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Again, his dual threat ability, his capability combined with that speed, that agility, that's going to allow Andy Reid to deploy Smith in varied roles or just even a hybrid roles. You have those screens, swing passes, jet sweeps, special teams. It's going to create matchup problems. It's going to enhance the Chiefs' offensive unpredictability. I mean, think about Andy Reid and the plays that he loves to draw up that are just so crazy. Imagine what someone like Smith could do in a scheme like that. And not only that, it's going to force safeties to, cheat up. That's going to free up some deeper shots, which the Chiefs want to get to anyway. So again, Smith's camp explosion, I think that makes him a likely candidate for that RB3 spot, especially with this hybrid skill set. This could be Veach's latest steal. It's going to give Reid a versatile playmaker for 2025, and we might see him utilized in some good trick plays. Well, let's just get into the training camp headlines. It was very, very hot on Tuesday. As we know, they are currently in training camp right now, so we'll talk about yesterday's, but it was turned up quite a few decibels there. Interesting news on the O-line front. Jalen Moore got first team left guard reps over expected starter Kingsley Suamataia. So that's a red flag for Suamataia as he may not be locking up down the spot like we thought. Then rookies Josh Simmons and Ashton Gelati, they got chippy. Yeah, they got into it. Simmons threw a punch. Gelati ripped off his helmet. It was in a physical 9-on-7 segment that they just got done doing. So, I honestly love the fire. It sets the tone for competition. I think they're all right now. But some injuries did pile up as well. Jeffrey Bassa, he had an ankle sprain. DB Eric Scott, he had a hamstring issue, plus the wide receiver issues that we already covered. So a lot going on there. And then looking at the secondary and some of the defensive highlights, Spags ran Najee Johnson, Trent McDuffie outside, Jamari Connor in the slot. So they were looking pretty stout there. Mahomes surgical. He's been looking good lately. Jalen Royals crosser touchdown over Cook. Juju Smith-Schuster with a leaping score. Sky Moore even with a diving red zone grab in 11 on 11. So Mahomes elevating the talent around him, getting the passes he needs to be getting right now. Worthy had an end around touchdown that flashed his speed, and then Mahomes not only in 11 on 11s, but was lighting up 7 on 7. Touchdowns to Thornton, Kelsey, and Gray 3 times. Big news there as well. So Mahomes red zone darts to Royals. More, I think that signals a passing attack that's ready to shred some red zone coverages. But again, Simmons Gelati scrap, I don't think we need to worry about. I just think that shows the physical edge that Andy Reid won. So Tuesday's camp brought some fire, the altercation, Mahomes touchdown flurry, but Suamati is slip. That could be the biggest news and something that we need to keep an eye on. But the offense continues, in my eyes, to look sharp, and I think they're ready to dominate in this upcoming season. Hopefully, we don't have any more wide receiver injuries that we have to worry about, though. Well, that was Wednesday's episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and in the comments right now, let me know what you think about our wide receiver room. And would you rather have Cooper or Allen if you could choose between the two? And then let me know what you think about Smith and his hybrid role. Do you think he's going to be that RB3 weapon, or do you think Mitchell will get it? And give me your overall thoughts so far on training camp. I think we're looking good on the offensive side. Defense is making some good moves here and there. I think it's going to be an exciting season. Again, this is Cheifs Latest. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm your host, Calvin Silvers. And until next time, have a good one.